Alright, so let's continue with some, exploring some different topics that we can add to the game, like some features. For example, today I was thinking to work on unit movement, like in these examples. Basically, you'll be able to set some waypoints for some character and make it move around. So sure, let's try to do that. So again, I wanted to start maybe like having an examples folder in the project to do this kind of stuff. Maybe it's gonna be easier to follow these kind of tutorials, let's say. So first of all, I guess, creating the Bevy app. Oh my god, app new dot run, right? That's how you usually run it. And then add plugins, and let's say default plugins. So this should be the bare minimum for the Bevy app. And I guess first things first, I guess I was thinking to implement this kind of stuff was, in the ECS style, maybe we can have some kind of component that is going to represent sliding or moving from one point to another point, not necessarily the unit itself, and then we can build the unit using that component. So we add that component to our unit in a way, and I guess then we get those points using the mouse input, so something like that. So let's make a component, and yeah, again, I was thinking about this one was, let's have a struct, and this could be like MoveTo, let's say, and probably this could be like a vec position, so maybe vec2, right? And deref mid, because anyway, like I would like this thing to only move on the XZ plane. I don't care about Y, so sure. Then some other things that we need, right? So, but this would be part of this, let's call it plugin, although it's, it feels a bit weird to have like the code structure into plugins. It would be more, I don't know, like modules is fine. So yeah, like for the like how we are gonna do this, right? So let's think about it. So we want to have some way to add this kind of like this kind of components to an entity, right? And probably the entity needs to have a global transform or a transform or something like that. And I guess that's also a problem, like because yeah, I mean, if we try to not use like entity hierarchies that much, maybe it's fine. But I was thinking that, if we rely on the transform, then that might be a bit of an issue, because the transform is not gonna be global. So yeah, I mean, whatever, let's write some systems then. So No, I guess important one would be the setup. Obviously, let's go with the setup. And for setup, let's see. So I guess it's a pretty good one. The basic terrain with everything. So no. But I would like to change this a bit, so you'll see. Right, so let's say that we have the setup, add systems, startup. Although, yeah, let's keep it like in the example just for the sake of this one. Makes things a bit easier because I don't think I'm gonna reuse any of these, so it's fine. Anyway, so like we have some ground to play around with, whatever, a light, like a random light, and a camera, right? So that would be it. And then it's this draw cursor, which it's pretty useful. It lets you see where you point on the map, so it's pretty neat. Let me just move these things, add systems, and in update we can draw cursor, right? So that should do it. And yeah, let's see, I've tried also to use like feature dynamic link, but strangely enough it was slower than when I use. Anyway, so now my idea would be to, you know, spawn a unit, get it to move around, and then maybe try to have more units and move them around. But you know, I guess this thing of like having units spread around, oh, this is pretty neat, is a problem in itself. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see how we are gonna do that. But you know, for, I guess for today, just having waypoints is probably good enough. So yeah. No, I guess for the problem with transform and such, I guess, you know, you set the move to the, like when you click like in the game, we don't necessarily set the move to directly. We might set some other thing which computes the, like a list of waypoints maybe instead of only one waypoint. Because for example, if we take a look here, you can see that the characters move not right from here to here directly, they move like with pathfinding, right? So we might have something like that in between the mouse click and actually moving, like some pathfinding system. But that's the first thing. So yeah, let's spawn a character. So usually, you know, the drill, the character is gonna be like spawn, let's do a PBR bundle, and in here I would like meshes add, and is it capsule? I think so, capsule default. you know, I guess there is a default, so material, let's try to do like, I don't know, color blue. I was like, oh, color green, but the ground is already green, so okay, anyway, let me just material, okay. Interesting. Okay, so it's capsule, fuck, capsule 3D or what? I mean, okay, fair enough. So we have like radius, half length, whatever. Let's see if it spawns it. Okay, I mean it's in the ground, so we should also set a transform. From XYZ, right? So let's put it in the center, but above the ground, right? So not sure if I have to set 1, but I think the height of the capsule is 2, so yeah. And you know, now the idea would be if I click somewhere, it goes from here to here, right? So let's build everything right here. So MoveTo, this should be a query of let's say, I don't know, movable query, and this should take into things the transform and the move to, I guess, right, something like this. We might also have like the speed, which could be interesting. Like, not sure if that thing should be in the move to, like, you know, maybe it makes sense, or maybe it makes sense to have like an enum for the move to, and we can have different kinds of movement, for example like walking or teleporting. Why not? But no, I think, yeah, I guess, you know, why not? This could be like an enum, right? We won't need that. So like enum, and then we can have like walk, teleport, right? And obviously, like, both of them need destination vector speed. Now this is interesting, it should be like a float, I guess. And then for teleport we just need destination, right? I guess you can do stuff like this, or yeah, interesting. Now obviously maybe having like structures outside and whatnot would be better, but who cares? Add systems, MoveTo. and I would do it like this, just to differentiate between this stuff are in main and this stuff is for our movable thing, right? So okay, so here what I would probably do is obviously a for loop. Oh, and let's not forget, transform might need to be mutable. Transform and MoveTo q movable dot iter mute, right? Oh, and using parentheses. Okay. So I guess the easy case is teleporting, obviously, but we might need to do a match. So match MoveTo, right? And let's fill them. So we have destination and speed. Let's keep it on to do, and let's do this other one. So for this one, transform the translation, I guess, is gonna be, this is gonna be the destination, and I would extend, so not resetting the Y position, let's keep the Y position like the one from translation, right? But we need to exit it. I think something like this. Oh, and obviously. Okay. So this should handle the teleporting of a unit. Okay, then let's imagine that in our main, so let's imagine that this is probably in a plugin or something, don't really have access to it, and what we have access to is being able to add this component to our stuff, right? So that's how I imagine it. And let's do function, and let's say that, well, actually let's just use the draw cursor one. So let's say this is draw cursor and click, even though it's probably too much stuff in a single system, but it's just for example purposes. Click and MoveTo. Okay, and let's say that right click is, or I guess it doesn't matter. I mean, we can do like right click adds teleport and normal click adds MoveTo. So, or I guess walk. So if but we need, I guess if we go back to the examples, if we search for input, oh, that's strange. There's no, I'm pretty sure I saw an example with input, so that's extremely strange. But anyway, we don't really care about that. So key input is gonna be like a resource, right? and I think it's button input key code. Don't remember exactly, but key input just pressed, and oh, I guess I said mouse, so mouse. Is it like this? I guess mouse input. Mouse input just pressed. Oh, mouse button. And I said like right click is gonna be teleport. So yeah. The only thing is we might also need, but right now we don't do any character, we don't do any selection, so let's derive character. But when we are gonna do selection, it is gonna be done for us. But right now let's just say that we are working on this system only, on MoveTo. Oh, that's my goal. And the character one is gonna be a different system, like selecting character, or I guess units and stuff. So okay, yeah, we need the query characters. So it's gonna be query, and we need just the entity with character, right? So I guess for character in Q characters, we just need commands. Oh, we don't have it. Let's just steal it from there. Command entity, and we pass in this stuff, and we can insert components now. So component would be MoveTo, teleport, and maybe the reason it would be point, right? Or point, what's the oopsie. It's a vectory. Well, I mean, exe, let's not worry about it. Okay, and we close that. I guess iter. Maybe the only reason why I would make this into some kind of structure and have this as having only one field inside of work or destination is because of this constructor. It looks ugly, so it would be maybe, I mean, even then would be ugly, so it is what it is. I guess it's fine. So let's see. I mean, obviously we can do more than this, but right, pretty interesting. And maybe the only thing that you would be, oh, I'm a bit surprised because of that, is that this thing is gonna be called on each frame regardless whether you clicked or not. So even if we finished moving to this position. So what I would say is maybe checking if we reached the destination, and if we actually reach the destination, we can delete the move to component. I guess that might be a good approach to the, you know, ECS paradigm. So maybe having another system for that. All right, so fn complete or something. Finish MoveTo. Alright, so I would say it's gonna be qMoveable. It's a query, and here we're gonna need the entity on which we remove the thing. We are gonna need a transform and a MoveTo. And okay, we also need commands. So, yeah, I don't know if having the commands is gonna be nice or not, but you know, I think it's pretty good way to do it. All right. So as before, let's iterate. So movable, transform, and MoveTo. Okay. So yeah, feels like, I guess everything has a destination in this kind of MoveTo. But no, like there would also be the option to have something like a structure, and it has destination and then the kind or something, and that's the enum. But yeah, I don't know, because for example for this one we don't care if it's what kind of movement it is. So my other idea would be maybe, let's say we have an enum move to kind, but that's a bit strange. Like have walk with speed and teleport, right? Have these kinds, and in this one this could be a struct, maybe like this. Like all the MoveTos are gonna have destination, but depending on the kind you have some sort of config for that MoveTo. No, like for my, you know, C programmer brain, it makes more sense to do it like this. I don't know if it's like the Rust way of doing it. I mean, pretty sure, you know, if we talk about Haskell, you should probably do it with the first way. So maybe that's also the way to do it in Rust. But let's say this. Can I do something like this? Speaking of Haskell, right? Oh wow, pretty neat. Yeah, we are not talking about things in my basement, I'm talking about kind. So move to kind. Okay. So maybe something, I mean, it feels a bit cleaner to do it like this. I guess. I have the destiny. I mean, yeah, it's like having two things. This is like new type. I mean, it's not a new type because it has two things, but like a data type with only one constructor, and this is a data type with two constructors, right? That's how you can see it. Okay, and this should become teleport, right? Or I guess, you know, kind is gonna be moved to kind teleport. I mean, it's fine. Obviously, like, the other option would be to have a trait. I was gonna say class, like a trait destination, and you know, that's how I would probably do it in another context, but I feel like everything is gonna have this field, so it looks fine to me. Okay, so MoveTo is gonna be destination. Can I do I was right the first time. Okay, so because we only care about destination and transform, right? And what we want to check is if we are close enough to the destination, and that's when we remove the MoveTo thing from this. So I guess you know, I would do something like even close enough, and let's say we have p1 vec2, maybe another vec, and returns a boolean. So p1 dot distance. Bro, there was a point where I was thinking, like, if you do the magnitude is the distance square, right? Yeah, I was thinking that if you do magnitude instead of distance, you gain performance, but like, it's just the square root. Like, does it even matter? I mean, sure, if you do it like 1,000,000 times, it's gonna add up, but whatever. Epsilon, I think this is for F32. Okay, so yeah, I guess if the distance between these two, okay, let's check length. I'm just curious. Whoa, what? Oh, I mean, that's pretty smart. Yeah, I didn't think about this. Like, the distance between 2 points is the dot product of the direction. Huh. I mean, you know what? Like, fuck it, let's. And the thing is that, I mean, we still compare with epsilon. Like, even if it's distance squared, I feel like it doesn't even matter. So yeah, let's check magni. Okay, whatever. Distance squared, right? So if close enough, so if transform.translation.exe destination, so if these two things are close enough, we might want to get movable entity and remove the MoveTo, I guess, but that's not how you write it. It's like this. You want to dereference the, well, I guess maybe here. Let's take a look at this. So it's a self. So this thing looks like it wants no, the reference is okay. Let me share. Although this thing is pretty weird, because if you think about it, like, why wouldn't these be references to vec? Because you just need the number. I mean, whatever. Anyway, let's finish MoveTo. So finish. I guess, you know, just to see. That thing moving to destination. So let's do destination. Okay, so we move there, and let's see what happens if we do not do finish MoveTo first. Let's see that. Now, what I really like about Rust in general is that if it compiles, it almost certainly will run. But like, see, it's gonna move to all the time, so like on every frame. But the issue with like game development is you do a lot of weird math, and like the type system doesn't really guarantee anything on that. Like, if you are bad at math, you are gonna, like, it doesn't matter which language you use. Finish. Okay. And I mean, by bad at math, I'm like talking mostly about this kind of using the transform. That's the only thing you need. And I guess, funny enough, just you know, the multiplying the speed with delta time and knowing that's a distance. So, like, you know, some people would say, oh, that's like I forgot, derived function. That's how you say it when you do dx and stuff, I guess so. But okay, let's see now what happens now that we added finish MoveTo, right? I would expect to no longer see this. I mean, see it only once for this thing. So let's see. Okay, pretty cool, am I right? it just moves there and then shuts the hell up. So like I guess these are like really small improvements that you can make, right? Like not calling the system a million times even though it doesn't do anything, because this is already done. But I feel like if you update translation or like the transform, or you update stuff that can be nested like that, it's probably gonna make it a bit slow. Like I had this problem, well, honestly I'm not even sure how the problem came up, but like my biggest like performance drop in the game was due to updating the transforms for some reason. Like I was looking at the flame graph and there were like chunks of like 100 milliseconds, which is way more than 16 for 60 fps, that had the chunks were called propagate transform, and I was like, what the fuck? Like I'm not even changing any transforms, like why do you need to propagate transforms? But it is what it is. Like now it seems a bit better than before with propagate transform and such, but maybe it's because I went back to better PC and I don't notice the FPS drop right now. Anyway, let's go to this thing, and let's say if you left click, we are gonna walk, and let's set the speed to 1.0. okay, so this sets walk speed. Okay, so all we have to do is change this thing. Okay, now this is a a bit of a harder problem, let's say, because I could take the direction between the current position and the target multiplied with speed, and that's that. But in a weird way I would have liked to be able to do some kind of interpolation, but I have no idea. So obviously we are gonna need delta time. I mean, as I, funnily enough, I already said that, so right, because delta is gonna be speed times time delta seconds. So this is the amount that we want to move in this frame, right? That's the amount. So maybe it makes sense. So because this is the amount that we want to move, and then we might have something like the total distance that we want to move. So distance, let's call it distance. Alright, so turn, or I guess let's do like origin is gonna be the transform translation .xz, this is the origin, and the distance should be destination dot distance origin. And in this case we cannot really you know, do the close enough thing. We have to kind of use distance, and by doing this thing, right, I guess let's go ahead and gimp this bay. Okay, so let's, fuck's sake, let's say that we have, like, this is the origin, this is the destination, doesn't really matter. Speed is gonna be something that makes the delta, but you know, what's interesting is this delta is just a number, right? So okay, let me just move this in a better position. So delta is gonna be just a single number. That's interesting, right? And distance is also gonna be a single number. It's gonna represent the length of this line, and we are gonna have also like our delta, which is based on speed. So we want to move our x this amount, so somewhere here. So if you think about it, if we take this small length and we divide it by this longer length, we get the f, let's call it, like the fraction that we have to move on this line. So can we implement it like that? So f is going to be delta divided by distance. Right, and I mean, hopefully the distance is not going to be 0. But what we can also do, this is going to be interesting, is if distance is more than epsilon, we might do something else. We might just do something like this, and we break, right? So if the distance to the target destination is more than like epsilon, which is a really small number, I think, let's see, now is, I don't even know what the fuck this is, but it's a small number, I would assume. Okay, so this is deprecated. Fuck. Now let's try again. I don't get it. Well, I guess whatever. Whatever. So yeah, like if this distance is smaller than a really small number, which is close to 0, then we just teleport the guy there, right? We teleport. Otherwise we have to take this fraction, and can we, like, do we have this lerp math? No, not sure how. Bevy lerp. I honestly forgot how it's called. Interesting. So we can Oh, but I don't want to linearly, damn it, to extrapolate. I want to probably clamp this between 0 and 1 like this, and then we can origin lerp, which I mean defeats the purpose, but destination, and we use F for this thing. Excuse me, what the fuck? I can literally see it. Anyway, transform dot translation. Let's extend with translation dot y xy. Okay, whatever, differencing borrow. Okay, pretty cool. Yeah, I think this should probably do it. Let's check. As I was rambling about being bad at math, and it's gonna be funny because it's not gonna work, but yo, oh, it actually looks like it's working, and it even stopped that. Huh. Interesting. But you know, see, like right now how this works is if you click, it resets the position, but that's just how we implemented it. So the MoveTo plugin, I guess it works. Seems like it's working, right? It makes our character move, and like for now we have just two methods of moving. One is gonna be like with this sliding, and the other one is teleporting in case we want to have, you know, admin stuff. So yeah, pretty neat. Okay, I guess. Yeah, so it even works as expected. Yeah, I mean, you know, I did it in another way when I did this one before, but I think I like this one more. Like the other method was to take the direction, multiply it with delta, and add it to the translation. But in yeah, that can overshoot, although it's not an issue because you know, if it overshoots, then we can just tame it down to a destination like we did here. I mean, it's the same thing. Yeah, I don't know if I like this one more. It's like basically the other method was taking the direction, multiply. Maybe it makes it look a bit closer to this one. but yeah, I mean, we still need the distance. And yeah, whatever. I think it's fine. Let's not think about it too much. But yeah, like take the distance, whatever. So I mean, probably the next thing would be to actually just move this thing into a plugin, right? So that would be the goal here, because now this MoveTo thing works, right? But again, like if we had multiple units, obviously this wouldn't work because we set the destination directly, and as I said, we might need some sort of algorithm that is gonna look at how many units we have and assign their positions. So like maybe a good way to do that is take the current position of each unit, right? Look at the center of mass or something, like the average point, and the average point is going to be our target, so this circle. And when we put the circle down, it just shifts the position of everyone. But it's going to be cool to like be able to rotate that thing and such. But yeah, obviously let's increase the speed, because if we increase the speed we might see any issues that we have. So that's also a good point. But yeah, I mean, it looks fine. If we do 500, if we make it literally like, okay, so it still works. I mean, it's pretty much instant, but whoa. See, like teleporting is instant, but like this you can see it moving. Imagine this thing coming at you with 500 speed. Okay, so let's also do that. Let's do a plugin for this thing, right? Maybe that's a good point. So struct MoveTo plugin. You don't need anything, honestly. So let's implement plugin for MoveTo plugin. We need build, and I think the only thing that we need to do for app is this thing, and then we might be able to just add plugins MoveTo. I think this should still work. A pretty simple plugin, right? Something seemed a bit weird, but I don't know what. Okay. And I would say next thing is to take this stuff. Let's go into lib. Mainly I have a folder named core. RS. Probably inside our lib. I think we need to make it pub, and this as well. Pub mod MoveTo, and we need a MoveTo.rs. Okay, let's go back to examples. So I'm gonna need this stuff, and I think obviously the plugin needs to be public. MoveToKind I think also needs to be public, and also this component, because this is what we are gonna add. Yeah, I think this should be everything. Okay, pretty cool examples. So now we might as well just remove all of this. And let's see if we can actually import this stuff. Okay, nice. I guess we need to right? Oh, there's we need to make them public as well. Yeah, you know, maybe that's the benefit of using enum, but couldn't care less. Okay, so this should probably do it, right? Yeah, I think it's fine. I was just thinking if it looks like it moves faster on longer or well, no, it's fine. I think my math is fine. I don't even know, like, testing this thing seems a bit difficult. So how do, like, game developers test this kind of stuff? Because like writing unit tests for floating numbers is a bit, but yeah, like maybe just hoping that it works. That's the approach that I usually use when I force push to master branch. Okay, so I mean, you know, we finished the, I mean, it's not really units, it's just moving things around, but I think like some cool next steps which I would like to have is, if you ever play like Dota and like games like that where you move the character, you know that there is like a queue of actions. For example, you can say, okay, move here, and afterwards you move here, and it actually goes to that point. So I think that would be a cool thing to have. Like if you control click, it just adds it to queue, you don't remove it. But see, like, that's not something from the character itself, that's logic from like the input, even, right? Like it's something related to the input, not necessarily the logic of the unit. And even the multiple units thing also feels like that. also feel like something that's not related to the unit, but maybe, you know, related to unit formations or something. But like a unit group. But that would be interesting to have like more than one unit. Being able to select them, that's also a thing, and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll have to see what's gonna be next on the list of implementing things. But I think for now it's this is decent progress. So, you know, I guess we'll have to see what we can cook up in the next one. So see you then.